Hello children, today I'll just revise turgidity and flaccidity with you, and then we will be going with the uses of turgidity to plants. I hope each and every point is very clear with you. What is actually these things? Last lecture also I told you to just visit to extra marks to just see the videos so that it will be more and more clear with you. Okay, we are studying absorption of roots. We are done with osmosis. Okay, we have seen what is actually osmosis, what is osmotic pressure, and yesterday we saw what is turgidity and flaccidity too. So today I will just explain you in short what is turgidity and flaccidity, and then we will go to the uses. Now when we were talking about turgidity, we said that at a particular point a cell will be taking in water. Okay, the cell will be taking water, but after some times it reaches its saturation level. Saturation level means there will be a state that further it cannot accommodate any more water. That time we say that the cells are turgid, and the condition, okay, that the condition is called as turgidity. Okay, and then we define turgidity as the state of the cell in which the cell wall is rigid, okay, and is stretched by the increase in the volume of vacuoles due to absorption of water. So see here, cell wall rigid, cell wall becomes rigid, fixed, okay, and it is stretched. Why it is stretched? Because we can say that the vacuoles are full of water. Okay, that's the reason we say that the cell has become turgid. That's called as a turgid cell. Then we analyzed what is actually turgor pressure and wall pressure. Turgor pressure, we said that it's the pressure of the cell contents. Okay, the pressure of the cell contents on the cell wall. So you can see here, pressure of the cell contents on the cell wall. I said that it's turgor pressure. Then we say wall pressure. Wall pressure is pressure exerted by the cell wall on the cell contents. By the cell wall on the cell contents. Okay, so turgor pressure, wall pressure. Then we said that somewhat when the cells are in the turgid state, sometimes they might burst or sometimes there might be a balance in them. Then afterwards we came to this particular figures over here. Okay, so here we said that the figure A and C, if you see figure A as well as figure C. Okay, figure A and figure C on page number 45, figure A and figure C, you can see that in these two cases the plasma membrane which is there, it is in contact with the cell wall. Okay, the plasma membrane is in contact with the cell wall, so we can say that it's a turgid cell. The A and C are the turgid cell. Yesterday I had told you that I'll explain you this. So it's A and C, these are the turgid cells. Then when we go to figure 4.9b, what we had done, first we had taken a leaf, we had put it in water, afterwards the particular leaf got turgid, so this was A and C. Then afterwards this turgid leaf was put in salt solution. So when it was put in salt solution, it started shrinking. So you can see that the cytoplasm, the protoplasm which is there, it has shrink. So this is what is we called as plasmolysis, shrinkage from the cell wall. So plasmolysis, contraction of cytoplasm from the cell wall due to the withdrawal of water when placed in strong hypertonic solution. When it is placed in a strong hypertonic solution. Hypertonic solution is, in this condition, the solution outside the cell has high concentration than the fluid inside the cell. Then afterwards you can say that these particular cells which are there, it's a plasmolysis, plasmolysed cell. Okay, and the condition which is there, it's called as flaccidity. So you can see these are flaccidity, that is B, D and F, flaccidity cells. Okay, B, D and F, flaccid. Now what is flaccidity? Okay, plasmolysis, I hope it's clear, that's a contraction of cytoplasm from the cell wall. The cytoplasm which is there, it has contracted, it has come inside again. Okay, why? Because of the presence of hypertonic solution. Hypertonic solution, the concentration of the solution, salt water is a hypertonic, more concentration than that inside, so it has shrunk. Then flaccidity, we say that it's the condition in which cell content has shrunken and no more the cell is tight, the cell is now said to be flaccid. Okay, I hope these three things are very clear. Now what is actually turgidity and how this turgidity is useful for plants is what we are going to focus today. Now first point, if you see, that is, so here turgidity which is there, it provides rigidity to soft tissues such as leaves. So main function itself, that it is providing turgidity to the leaves. Now what happens when in the condition when there are leaves? Okay, so these leaves, when they are exposed to very hot sunlight, okay, then and there is no water. So what happens? The petiole and the lamina becomes loose. Petiole, what is actually petiole is, which is the part which connects the leaf to the stem. That's called as a petiole, right? You had studied in the parts of the leaf. Okay, so this petiole and the leaf which is there, it droops down, just it falls off down. So wilting of the leaves is usually noticed when the plant is exposed, okay, to afternoon sun, when the amount of water is lost during transpiration is more than that absorbed by the root. So here if we say that this is the condition, okay, this is the leaf, this is the petiole. So because of all this it droops down, it will be drooping down like this. So the leaf has drooped down, okay. So here the wilting of the leaves is there, okay, when it is very sunny, okay, when the sun is more, as well as we can see that the transpiration, okay, the transpiration process is more. When transpiration process is more, what is transpiration? Transpiration is what? Removal of water from the surface of the cells, of the leaf surface, process of removal of water. So transpiration more, and what happens then? Roots are absorbing the water, okay, roots are obviously absorbing the water, but transpiration is more, and as a result the leaves get wilt. So in evening what happens is the transpiration is reduced now, okay, so the quantity of water exceeds the loss of water. Finally what happens? In the evening transpiration becomes less, okay, we can say transpiration becomes less, and as transpiration becomes less, absorption of the water from the roots, it reaches the leaves, and again the turgidity of the leaves is restored and the leaves again stand out. So you can see here, what is turgidity doing here? Turgidity is providing, we can say, rigidity. Rigidity is nothing but rigid, meaning is fixed, okay, it is giving us support, it's giving us support to these tissues of leaves. So I explained you, during afternoon sun what happens? Leaves will be wilting down, they will be wilting down. Finally, why they will be wilting down? Because transpiration is more, absorption of roots is less, okay. Then in the evening what happens? Transpiration becomes less, absorption of roots becomes more. As a result, what happens to these cells? They become turgid. Why do they become turgid? Because they are absorbing more and more water, and after a certain time they can't. So they again, the leaves are back to their original shape, that they are restored. So this is the first point, that is turgidity provides rigidity to soft tissues. Then plasmolysis in practice, salting of meat or addition of salt to the pickles is a method of killing bacteria. So whenever meat is brought, or let us take an example of pickles. Pickles are salt is put into the pickles. Why? Because it will be absorbing, the bacteria will be killed, okay, and the salt will be absorbed. As a result, the water is drawn out from the bacterial cells, okay, and it will remain dry, okay. What happens? The water comes out from it, and because of the salt content the bacteria is killed to it. Then weeds can be killed in a playground by also sprinkling excessive salts, and excessive application of fertilizer in agricultural fields may similarly damage the roots and diminish their yield. So weeds also can be killed by this method, by just adding salts, okay, sprinkling excessive salts, so bacteria can be killed. So again, what is plasmolysis actually? Plasmolysis is contraction of cytoplasm when they are placed in hypertonic solutions. So here what is a hypertonic solution? Over here the salt. So in presence of this hypertonic solution, what will happen? Okay, in presence of this salt solution, water will be drawn from the bacterial cells. Water will be drawn from the bacterial cells. Why? Because plasmolysis itself is a result of outflow of water. It is giving out water. Okay, so these are the two applications of it. Now the second point of turgidity is that turgor pressure helps to push through the hard ground. So here an example of a seed, germinating seed, is given on page number 46, you can see. So here if you see, turgor pressure helps to push through the hard ground, as in mushrooms and seedlings. Sometimes the roots of certain trees have seen to crack the walls of a concrete floor of adjoining building. This again is due to turgor pressure. So if you see this seed particular, the seed is developed and it is forcing itself to go to the upper layer. So this is also because of turgor pressure. What has happened to the seed? Lot of amount of water is entered to it. Due to turgor pressure, it will be exerting pressure outwards and it has to come out. So even if you see, sometimes you see that there are cracks near the buildings wherever the roots are there. So it's because of what? Because of the turgor pressure that there are these cracks. Okay. Why? Because there will be a pressure which will be created. What is a turgor pressure actually? In any turgor pressure is nothing but the pressure of the cell contents on the cell wall. So on the cell wall the pressure will be created. As a result, all of them will be exerting pressure outside and there can be cracks. Then the third point is that turgor in root cells built up root pressure. Okay, turgor in the root cells built up root pressure. Now what is this actually root pressure? Okay, now what you have to do is you have to cut a balsam plant. Okay, after cutting the balsam plant, what you have to do is you have to place it inside this particular setup. Okay, so you can see that the balsam plant is there and it is put inside a tube by a means of a rubber stopper, and this is attached to a manometer. Sorry, it is attached to a manometer. Now after sometimes you will see that what happens over here is there is a rise in the level of the mercury. Why is there a rise in the level of the mercury? Because from the roots, okay, water is being pushed upwards, and as a result of which the level of the mercury rises in a connected manometer. So here we say that the upward flow of the water, there is an upward flow of the water, right? From the roots there is an upward flow of water which is called as root pressure. So upward flow of the water is due to a heavy pressure from the roots which is called as root pressure. So how is this root pressure developed? Because of the turgor in the root cells. Okay, that there is a turgor in the root cells, there will be a turgor pressure, there will be a root cells will be exerting a pressure on the cell wall, and because of that what will happen? The water will be raised upwards to the stem which causes root pressure. So what is actually root pressure in general? Root pressure is the pressure which is developed in the roots due to the continued inward movement of water through cell to cell osmosis, which helps in the ascent of sap upward through the stem. Now what is this ascent of sap? First of all, I'll tell you, ascent of sap is nothing but the movement of the water and the minerals in the plant through xylem. Okay, ascent of sap is nothing but the movement of water and minerals in the plant through the xylem, that is called as the ascent of sap. So what happens here in the root pressure? In the root pressure, the pressure is developed in the roots. Okay, why there is a pressure which is developed in the roots? Because always continuously the water is entering the root cells. Okay, how? By the cell to cell osmosis, right? From one cell to the other cell, always the osmosis is taking place, and that because of this a pressure is created. Okay, which helps because of this root pressure. Okay, because of this root pressure the water and minerals will be moved upwards to the stem from the xylem. Okay, because of this reason. So I hope it is clear. So when we say, suppose these are the roots. Okay, so from here, okay, we will say that because of the turgor pressure which is there, because of the turgor, the root cells will be absorbing. Okay, the root cells will be absorbing the water, and then they will be sending it upwards. The root who will be sending it upwards? From the ascent of sap. Ascent of sap means the water and minerals will be sent from the xylem upwards to the stem and then other parts of the plant. So there is a pressure like thing created because of this, and that is nothing but the root pressure. And this root pressure we already demonstrated in this experiment, how this root pressure is taking place. Okay, fine. So then because of the root pressure the cell sap can rise, okay, up to only a certain height. Because of this root pressure it can go up to a certain height, and then loss of water which takes place through cutting of the stem. So when we cut the stem, some amount of water is lost, and that is called as bleeding. Okay, so we have seen three different points of turgor. That is how the turgor pressure is used for the plants. So how turgidity is used for the plants. First is it is providing rigidity to the soft tissues such as leaves. Second is it provides pressure to help to push through the hard ground. And third, turgor in root cells builds pressure. Okay, now let's see the fourth point, that's turgor helps in the closing and opening of the stomata. Opening and closing of stomata. There are the stomata present, they are present under the surface of the leaves, right? They are responsible for the process of transpiration. So here we can say that each guard cell which is there, for this you can all refer to chapter 6 figure 6.2. So you can see figure 6.2 over here. This is the figure 6.2. Okay, page number 69, figure 6.2. Okay, now here what is the scenario, what is the case over here? Just a moment. So here if you see, these are the stomata, the opening and the closing of the stomata. Here the guard cells have become turgid, right? How they have become turgid we will see. Now here each guard cell which is there, it has a, we can say that it has a thicker wall on the side facing the stomata and thin wall on the opposite side. So here if you see, okay, if you see, this is the outer wall which is thick and this is the inner wall which is thin. Outer wall, thinner wall, outer wall, thinner wall. Now what happens over here is, because of the turgidity, okay, because of the photosynthesis, okay, there is a process of photosynthesis which is taking place in the leaves, and because of this the glucose is being produced and many other chemical changes are being taking place, and there is an absorption, okay, there's an absorption of this glucose, and because of this osmotic pressure is being created, okay, osmotic pressure is created on the contents of the guard cells, and because of this what happens, they keep on absorbing more and more water from the neighboring cells. So first reason is photosynthesis is taking place, so there is a synthesis of glucose, there is a formation of the glucose, as well as certain chemical changes are taking place, and this particular guard cells which are there, it will be keeping on, or the stomata which is there, its contents of these guard cells will be occupied with water, okay, increases. How? By absorbing the water from the neighboring cells, so finally what happens, this stomata becomes turgid. Once the stomata becomes turgid, okay, what happens, because of the turgidity, the guard cells which are there, they will be moving outwards like that, okay, they will be swelling like a balloon, right? So they will be moving like that, and there will be a small aperture like thing which will be created over here. Can you see, there is a small aperture, a small hole which is created. So because of this, when this hole is being created, means what, the stomata is now open, it is turgid, the stomata is open. Now the process of transpiration can take place. So are you understanding what is actually happening here? What happens, the stomata is there, the outer wall is there, as well as the inner wall is there, okay. So the outer wall and the inner wall which are there, because of photosynthesis and because of certain chemical changes, the contents inside the guard cells, the contents which are there inside the guard cells will be absorbing more and more water. Once they absorb more and more water, what happens, they become turgid, okay, they become swollen, turgid. Because of turgidity what happens, this particular, they will be stretched, the guard cells arch outwards, and there's a small aperture which is created which opens the stomata. And at night what happens, again loss of water will be there, no transpiration, shortage of water, so the stomata becomes flaccid over here, and if you can see that it has been straight, their inner right rigid walls have become straight. Here when it was open, inner rigid walls had become like that, they had widened, and now here they are in a small straight line, okay. So this is how stomata turgor helps in the opening and the closing of stomata. I hope it is clear now, okay. And the last point which is there, the fifth point of the uses of turgidity, is turgor movement, okay, there is a movement. Now here if you touch the mimosa plant, right, touch me not plant, what happens, this is an example of turgor pressure. So what happens, when you just touch it, it suddenly, falls off, right? Even if you touch it lightly, within 2 to 3 seconds entire leaf is drooped out. Now why is this happening? If the leaf is touched somewhat strongly, the wave of the folding and drooping spreads from the stimulated leaf to the neighboring leaves. If you touch it very hardly, it will be spreading everywhere, okay. And how do they recover then? After sometimes they will be recovering, and again they will be straight, okay. So again they will be straight. So in this what happens, when you touch it, when you touch the leaf, it will lose its turgidity, it will lose its turgor, okay, at the base of the leaflets and at the base of the petioles called as pulvulus, okay. So here it will lose its rigidity, fine. And then slowly and steadily afterwards, once the effect is done, they will be again coming back to their original position. So here if you see, cells remaining turgid, okay, cells losing turgor, this is the petiole and this is the vascular tissue. So what is happening? So in the first part, petiole of sensitive Mimosa pudicea is held up by the turgid pulvinous tissue. When the leaf is touched, the cells of the lower side of pulvinus loses the water and the petiole collapses. So when it is touched, it will lose its water and it will collapse, okay, like this, it will lose its turgidity. And then afterwards, slowly and steadily, it can come back to its own shape, okay. So once again I will explain you. When you touch the mimosa plant, okay, or we call it as Mimosa pudicea, when you touch it, it falls off, the leaf falls off. What is, okay, Then the reason behind it is these particular plants will be losing its property, okay, the property of turgidity. So slowly these cells will be losing the turgidity, okay, and you can see that because of the stimulus they leave the turgidity, and at the base of the petioles called the pulvulus they will be losing it. So petiole of sensitive is held up because of over here, so it will now fall off like that. After some times again it will come back to its place. Somewhat similar turgor movements are found in insectivorous plants also. When any particular prey, any particular insect is stuck into that, it closes. It's because of this reason only. Then bending movement of certain flowers towards the sun, like the sunflower and all, it's because of this. Sleep movements of the leaves of certain plants at nights are also due to the turgor movements, because of the turgor movements. Then certain point is given, that is imbibition and turgor together generate much more force. So imbibition, what is imbibition? We had studied about imbibition, right? It's the passive absorption of water by substances such as cellulose. Okay, passive absorption of water, because that is the absorption taking place from the cellulose or from the starch, which we say that it is called as the imbibition. Okay, then here we say that turgor is the pressure which is set up by the plant cells due to hydrostatic pressure on the cell walls. Now why we are saying it as hydrostatic pressure? The hydrostatic pressure we are saying because it is because of the water, right? The pressure because of the water. That's called as turgidity. So turgor is the pressure set up inside the plant cells due to hydrostatic pressure on account of incoming water. Incoming water means endoosmosis. So water entering it, endoosmosis, as well as imbibition, which is the passive absorption of water, okay, such as the cellulose. Then the seeds and the grains which are there, okay, they are swelling because of this process of imbibition and endoosmosis. Just any particular seed you take, if you have at home now the wheat, okay, and if you just put them in water, what happens after some time? It starts swelling because of what? Because of imbibition and endoosmosis. What is being absorbed in imbibition? The absorption of the water, okay, that is, I mean, these substances such as cellulose and starch, what is present inside wheat? Starch, right? So it will be absorbed. So when wheat is soaked in the water, then the force which is generated by the water thus absorbed is strong enough to make the seed coat burst, right? The outer seed coat also comes out. The outer seed coat of the seed will be also coming out. When you are making this, also we discussed when we are making pulses and all these things, if you just soak them in water, you can see their seed coats coming out. You can try this experiments, you can do that. Okay, so why is this? Why does the seed coat come out? It's because of imbibition and turgor together which generate much force. So soaked seeds when kept fully filled closed container burst it open with a greater pressure. Soaked seeds when kept in full close, soak some seeds and you just close the container, you will observe that it will be opening with a pressure. Why pressure? Because there is a turgidity, there is an expansion of these seeds. Then basement godowns fully stocked with bags containing food grains have got their walls cracked after rainwater has flooded in. So when there were floods and when these basement godowns were there, they were filled with food grains, the walls of those particular basement were cracked. Why? Because of this process of imbibition and turgor pressure, which together exert a lot of force. They exert a very lot of force. Lot of force on what? Any particular outside, as we said the example, on the walls when they were placed in the godowns. Okay, so this is the uses of turgidity. Turgidity uses are, it is providing rigidity to the soft tissues like plants, then it is helping to push through the hard ground, then it is building up the root pressure, it's helping in turgor movement as well as helping in the opening and the closing of stomata. Please go through it once again and be clear with it. If you have any doubts, you can specify it later. So next half we will be studying about the root pressure. Thank you so much. Study well and take care.